morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support and resistance levels. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of September. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, we're looking at the hourly candlesticks here. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 10,585 to support a run at the first major resistance level, sitting 10,850. Going to need to see a broad-based crypto recovery from yesterday's meltdown to support a breakout from 10,500 levels and break back through to 10,700, which has been a key resistance level of late. So barring an extended crypto rally, expect resistance at 10,700 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of a rebound, could see Bitcoin target resistance at 11,000 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot brings the first major support level sitting at 10,171 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, Bitcoin should avoid sub 10,000s. Second major support level sits at 9,906. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bullish cross and a widening of the bullish histogram early this morning, supported the early move northwards. Looking at the EMAs, however, we had that bearish cross late yesterday, and we're seeing the 50 EMA pull back away from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of another bearish day ahead. So failure to move through the pivot at 10,585 would bring another day in the red for Bitcoin. Moving across to EOS against the US dollar, tracking the broader market, finding some support early on. EOS is going to need to move through the pivot at 2.5586, however, support a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 2.6361. Going to need to see support from the broader market for EOS to break back through to 2.60 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 2.4264 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, EOS should avoid the second major support level sitting at 2.3489. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing, after a narrowing of the bearish histogram, a widening this morning, suggestive of an early pullback. And looking at the EMA, we're also suggestive of a bearish day ahead. We're seeing the 50 pull back from the 100 and the 200. So key through the morning will be to move through that pivot level at 2.5586. Failure to do that, and we're going to see that first major support level come into play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, tracking the broader market early on. Going to need to see Ethereum break through the pivot at 349.29 through to 350 levels to support a run at the 38.2% fib at 367 and the first major resistance level 367.58. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rebound for Ethereum to break back through to 360 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect the 38.2% fib and the first major resistance level to pin Ethereum back. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 321.82 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, Ethereum should avoid the second major support level sitting at 303.33 and sub 300. Looking at the MACD, we had a bullish cross late yesterday, supportive of that upward move, and through the early part of this morning, widening of that bullish histogram. Looking at the EMA, however, we've got the 50 pull further back away from the 100 and the 200 after the bearish crosses yesterday. We saw the 50 cross through the 100 and the 200 and the 100 cross through the 200, suggestive of further downside ahead. So failure to break back to 350 levels would bring further losses into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also a positive start to the morning after an early pullback. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2360, however, to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 24.27. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rebound for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.24 levels, however. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, that first major resistance level should cap any upside. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2241 into play. Barring another sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid the second major support level sitting at 0.2174. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bullish cross supportive of the early move northwards, with that widening of that bullish histogram as well, supportive of that move. Looking at the EMAs, however, we've got the 50 pullback from the 100 and the 200 after yesterday's bearish crosses, suggestive of further downside on the day ahead. So failure to move through that pivot at 0.2360 would bring that first major support level and sub 0.22 levels into play before any recovery.